RAUSCH Games!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to RAUSCH Games here on YouTube. More importantly, welcome back to my WWE 2K14 Universe mode. No doubt the reason you are on this channel. We have a lot of fun here, and it's time for another episode of Superstars. This is going to be our second episode in the month of May, 2K14. We're moving halfway through the month already, guys. Where does the time go? As per usual, we've got 5 matches on this card, and we will play one of them. I didn't give you a whole lot of time to vote this week, just about 2 days, but got to get these videos up on a schedule. So you got to be on Twitter, you got to be on Reddit, you got to look at these comments on the end of these videos, and you have to be ready to vote at a moment's notice. So we had 2 votes come in. The 5 matches we had: Bruno, Sammartino, Brock Lesnar, Big E, Langston, Mick Foley, CM Punk, Undertaker, again, Darren Young, R-Truth, again, Randy Orton, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And with the votes that we had 1 go to Bruno, 1 to Bruno and Brock, and 1 to Randy Orton and Stone Cold. 2 votes cast all day, different places. That invokes the all-powerful RAUSCH Games tiebreaker vote of doom, and I'm going to go with actually Bruno and Brock up here. That's just a match we would obviously never get to see, and I would like to see it happen right now on this channel. So we're going to make that the main event tonight. Moving into the storyline, guys, we know what's been going on in the WWE recently, and we just led off the show with WWE Champion Dolph Ziggler arriving on the scene. The last time we saw him, he was in a match on Raw this week against John Cena, non-title. Cena actually knocked the ref out at the beginning of the match and hit Ziggler with a chair, despite the fact that it was not any sort of Extreme Rules match. If the referee was alive at the time, John Cena would have been disqualified, and it seems as though Cena, in the 2 weeks since he lost his belt to Ziggler, is kind of transforming his game plan. He mentioned on Superstars last week that he was willing to make things with Dolph personal moving forward if it meant getting back his belt at the rematch they both have at Over the Limit. And it seems as though Cena is living up to that. So Ziggler is here in the building. We gotta hope that Cena's not. We may see a little confrontation between the two of them, but we're gonna get right into things here. We're gonna make this our opening match: Big E Langston versus Mick Foley. We've seen them fight once so far. It was Langston's debut on Raw last month. Langston kicked the living crap out of the hardcore legend. Simulation coming in. Oh, and Foley gets his rematch and his revenge in a dark match to open Superstars. Now we're going to head backstage. As per usual, we've got some story coming up, guys. See you in a bit. And we're backstage here. We've got the Shield playing cards. Wait a minute. This is the $1 Million Corporation. Oh my god. And they're flipping the table over. And then we've got a brawl backstage, ladies and gentlemen. And Roman Reigns with the World Heavyweight Champion through the door. Unbelievable. All right, we are now back in our little van with a satellite dish parked outside of the local arena inside which WWE Superstars takes place every week. And we're going to simulate through this next match here, CM Punk and The Undertaker. But first, talking about what just happened backstage, we had the tag team champions, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. They were talking a little bit about the predicament their partner Dean Ambrose has in his feud with the Macho Man Randy Savage. Ambrose trying his hardest to make Savage look dumb, but Savage always tends to come out on top for whatever reason. And they were just sitting there, you know, playing cards, discussing how things are in the Shield. I mean, they pretty much own the Raw brand with the titles that they have. They've got the Tag Team Champions and the United States Championship locked up within their group, when the other group of power in the WWE right now, the $1 Million Corporation, comes knocking down the theoretical and apparently literal door, breaking up the card game, flipping the table over. Brawl ensues. They say that that Ted DiBiase sends his regards, their boss, and then they get thrown out. The Shield defend their turf, and it's interesting because we've seen the $1 Million Corporation have a match with the Shield, non-title, on Raw. That happened last month, and the Shield did indeed beat the $1 Million Corporation. They are, on paper, and according to the system of metrics applied by a group of shady and hooded arbiters interviewed and hired by the McMahon family before we began this universe mode, they're the #1 contenders for the Shield's Tag Team Championships here, and we have not had a match for those belts yet. We've had several tag team matches against the Shield take place so far, and the Shield have looked great. And the tag team division in general in WWE looks pretty weak right now. I mean, that match between the NWO and DX last week, as much fun as it was to watch, it didn't make DX look all that good. It made the NWO look pretty okay. The primetime players have fallen off the face of the earth. I mean, we're running out of options here. You have to wonder if this is the next step of Ted DiBiase's plan to quote-unquote own the WWE. He mentioned that he literally wanted to own it. Literally wanted to own the WWE. He may have meant figuratively, and he may be speaking about this, his tag team, King Kong Bundy and Andre the Giant, taking the tag team championships from the Shield and bringing them back to the $1 Million Corporation on SmackDown. They already have the World Heavyweight Champion. They've taken Goldberg out of commission. They've sent Alberto Del Rio down to NXT indefinitely, bringing Ricardo Rodriguez with him. They pretty much run the show on SmackDown right now. I wonder if this is what they meant by taking over all of WWE. Maybe we will see them move over toward Raw, take that title that Raw and SmackDown share. Maybe they'll interview a woman to join the group, and they'll take the Divas title as well. We don't really know, but what we know is that they just made a power move against the Shield, and the Shield, the dominant force of the Raw brand, stood their ground and threw them out. So kudos to them. Either way, we got a simulation coming in on this match between CM Punk and The Undertaker. And Punk gets a big win against the Dead Man. The Undertaker has had a little bit of a easy streak on Raw against Wade Barrett. It's nice to see him get some real competition from CM Punk. But speaking of Wade Barrett, immediately after the match, after Punk and Undertaker leave the arena, he's making his way down to the ring right now. We're going to go to our live feed, guys. We'll be right over there. There we go. We switched over to the live feed, and we've got Wade Barrett in the ring looking to make a speech. Could be a timing thing as The Undertaker and CM Punk just left the arena. Let's listen to what he has to say. It's a good thing he waited for Taker to leave before he started this speech. He might be a dead man right now. Oh, and a challenge issued for Over the Limit. Wait a minute. Barrett doesn't see it, but The Undertaker never left. He's coming up from under the ring. Oh, Wade Barrett's going to want to turn around right now, ladies and gentlemen. He's on the mic. He's on the mic too hard. He's trying to leave his stipulation up to the fans. No! Undertaker's got him by the throat. And he's got him up, and he's going to choke slam through the hole, and fire shoots out of the hole. Wade Barrett has been burnt alive by The Undertaker. We've got to get EMTs under the ring right now. Well, we are back after that last little bit of intrigue in the ring. I don't even know what to say. We just watched The Undertaker light Wade Barrett on fire. He chokeslammed him through the hole in the ring that he crawled out of. Barrett was sent through it, and a shot of flame immediately emerged from that hole. EMTs were able to get Barrett. He did not look too badly burnt. It looked like the flames were out instantaneously, but he is being taken to a hospital for emergency evaluation. As we get any sort of reportage on his condition, we will make sure that you hear about it. But the show is going to move on. Vince McMahon will not let a card come down for an act like that, and he's probably not even going to say anything to The Undertaker about it because, well, you know, nobody says anything to The Undertaker about that stuff. We're going to simulate our next match here. Darren Young and R-Truth. The ring has been sewn back together and is deemed sturdy enough. Simulation coming in. And Darren Young loses again. R-Truth, a big win here. Darren Young looks like he's well on his way to be the next guy down at NXT once we have a cash-in on either one of those belts. I'll remind you that our rosters on Raw and SmackDown are both at their maximum capacity of 30, as well as the roster at NXT. If anyone should be called up to any of those rosters, whether it is a free agent from the IWC to NXT or an NXT roster member to Raw or SmackDown, as in coming up at SummerSlam in a few months' time, where whoever the internet champion, currently Brodus Clay, is, if he succeeds in a cash-in attempt at that pay-per-view, he will come up to the roster, and it looks like Darren Young will be the guy sent down now. Darren Young has no momentum to speak of with this loss to R-Truth. We're not going to hang our hats too high on Darren Young right now and prognosticate his future, though, because we do have more things happening backstage. We actually have an interview coming up. We have Ramon standing by backstage. We'll be right there, guys. And we're backstage here. We've got RENEE Young interviewing Ramon. Talking about Ricky Steamboat voicing his anger over Ramon's kind of big-time tactics on the floor of the arena on SmackDown last Friday. Oh, Ricky Steamboat from behind! And RENEE Young giving the health emergency sign. Alright guys, we are back here in our little trailer outside of the arena. We've got 2 more matches to get through. We have the original main event, Randy Orton and Stone Cold, that we're going to simulate. And then we've got the match that we are going to broadcast live to you. That's going to be Bruno Sammartino versus Brock Lesnar. That's going to be a big one. But before we get into this Randy Orton Stone Cold match, we just saw Ricky the Dragon Steamboat attack Ramon while he was in the middle of getting interviewed by RENEE Young. Ricky went off this week on all social media platforms, denouncing Ramon's tactics, saying he was intentionally trying to harm Steamboat in their match during the main event of last week's SmackDown, where Ramon hit the Razor's Edge on the floor of the arena. He deemed it unsafe, unnecessary, and a cheap tactic, and Ramon pretty much just shrugged it off, saying, you know, it's not my fault he's weak and can't take a hit. So Steamboat came from behind, attacked Razor, knocked him out, and told him he was going to show him what dangerous really means moving forward. We're going to have to keep an eye on that situation. It looks like it's getting ugly. But anyway, for this match here, RKO, Stone Cold, 2 guys on SmackDown that haven't been featured the most, but have done pretty well in their time in the ring, aside from Stone Cold getting beat by Andre the Giant last week in a non-title match. Simulation coming in. And it's Randy Orton, the Viper, gets a win there. That's his second win in his second match in this Universe mode. Not too bad for him. Now, we're about to go into this match, but wait one second. We've got something coming in from backstage. Something just got found. And wait a minute, that's Dolph Ziggler, the WWE Champion. He looks like he's unconscious. We've got a crew member on the scene. He's trying to get medics over. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the viewer-voted main event of Superstars the second week of May. The Beast Brock Lesnar, the Legend Bruno Sammartino. 1 fall to the finish. They're going to send us off the air here. Before we get into this, we just saw WWE Champion Dolph Ziggler knocked unconscious backstage. No word on his condition. He was taken to the hospital right before we got underway on this match. He was found by WWE crew. We do know that he was breathing and that his condition is stable. He was not dead, which is good. But we do not know who attacked him, how he was attacked, if he was attacked. He may have just fallen over under the weight of his own ego and just become incapacitated by the whole thing. But either way, we will keep you up to date on that. We will also keep you up to date on the condition of Wade Barrett, who was incinerated by the Undertaker early on this evening here on Superstars. Went right through the center of the ring into a flame jet that just shot forward from underneath. And the Undertaker announced the word Inferno as Wade Barrett was listing off stipulations for matches to face him at the challenge he had just issued at Over the Limit against The Undertaker. Blah, blah, blah. Not quite sure what to make of that yet until we have official confirmation one way or the other, but it definitely sounded like The Undertaker accepted the challenge and declared it an Inferno match. This match, though, this main event, we've seen each of these competitors one time in a WWE ring this year. Brock Lesnar teamed with Batista to lose to The Undertaker and Mick Foley long ago on Raw last month. And Bruno Sammartino made his re-debut in a triple threat match, defeating both Jake the Snake Roberts and Big E Langston on Raw, also taking place last month. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, it was last week. What am I talking about? It was the first show of this month. It's been a while. But it's amazing to see the juxtaposition of these two wrestlers. Bruno Sammartino coming from a time where Flair was, you know, the subtle, earthy tone of your wrestling shorts, where body waxing was not necessary, where strength did not have to be defined by steroid use, or maybe it was, who knows. And you go from him, this legend in the ring, and then you go to Brock Lesnar, where everything is about being sponsored by Jimmy John's. Oh, misses a clothesline there, does Lesnar. Being sponsored by Jimmy John's and getting giant sword penis tattoos on your chest. Strange difference in eras that these two come from. But no one is a clear favorite in this match. Sammartino, probably the hottest of the two, having a win just over a week ago on Raw in a big triple threat match. Lesnar looking to get himself into that main event scene on Raw that he left behind so many years ago, but it just hasn't come his way yet. Ziggler and Cena have been dominating that. We need to see if their rivalry comes to any sort of true end at Over the Limit at the end of this month, to see if anyone else can step up for that WWE Championship, or if it'll just be the two of them feuding over it indefinitely. But in this match here, Bruno Sammartino is just taking it to the beast Brock Lesnar. More shots to the face here, left and a right, sends Lesnar down to the mat, and now Sammartino is going to drag him toward the center of the ring, and he's going to go for the pin here. Just that one count though, and Lesnar does kick out. And now Sammartino sending him into the ropes, over the ropes, and down to the floor of the arena again goes Brock Lesnar, and Sammartino is going to stalk him out. Sammartino, the longest reigning WWE champion of all time. Back in a time where that thing was defended at almost every house show. And there's Lesnar with the run, and a big belly-to-belly suplex from the Beast sends the big man Bruno Sammartino across the ring, and Lesnar locks into a standing headlock, but Sammartino pushes off into a back elbow, and Sammartino, huge elbow across the face while Lesnar's down, and now Sammartino's getting him up to his feet. The Beast, Brock Lesnar, the hairless gorilla, succumbing to it. Sammartino's got him up and over his shoulder, and he's got the submission locked in, ladies and gentlemen. He's got it locked, and Lesnar is stretched out in a very awkward way. No way to tap, but he actually gets out, and Sammartino has to let his grip go. And now Sammartino reversing, bringing him back in, and there's a hip toss from Bruno Sammartino. And there was a little bit of a weird glitch there, but now Sammartino working the face again, punches to the ear, the cauliflowered ear of Brock Lesnar. And Sammartino just taking complete control over Lesnar, throwing him off the turnbuckle. And now he's got an armbar wrenched in, locking back on it, but let's go. Lesnar is just at the will of Sammartino. But wait, there's a big back elbow from Brock Lesnar. And now he's got Sammartino up over his shoulder. And a big-time power slam from the Beast. And now he's fired up. He's going to get himself back into this match, punching. And he sends Sammartino down to the mat. And now he's got him set up. And Lesnar has Sammartino powerbomb. He's going to give him a three-peat here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the strength of Brock Lesnar. And here comes the third. Unbelievable from Brock Lesnar. And now it's his turn to taunt. Sammartino struggling to his feet, trying to get back in control of this match. But there's Lesnar. He's got Sammartino up on his shoulders. We know what time it is. There's the F5. Unbelievable impact. Sammartino is down. Lesnar for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar with a huge win over Bruno Sammartino to send us home here on Superstars. We have a lot of things to talk about. We'll talk about them come SmackDown. Ziggler knocked out. Barrett set on fire. Ramon knocked out. The Shield and the $1 Million Corporation brawl. And Brock Lesnar gets a win over a legend. That's going to send us home tonight. Remember, if you like this video, please demonstrate that for the rest of the world by leaving a big fat like on it. And if you're new here and you like my universe mode, you better subscribe to this video and stick around for a while. We're going to come back with SmackDown in a couple days, guys. In the meantime, I give you a hairless gorilla celebrating. Bye-bye.